Last week, I posted a video about the assessment, another assessment hell that I'm going through. This is kind of further evidence as to the sort of shit we have to go through. Last week, I had my support worker here from the local mental health service, and he was really helpful. He came the same day that the letter with the appointment date came, and he phoned my doctor and to try and chase up a form that was supposed to have been sent out or sent out to them and then returned to the assessment people. And they said, "Oh yes, we've got the form, but it hasn't been filled out yet." So Tuesday, I was passing the doctor's surgery, so I went in, and I was told that the form had been sent. It was sent last Friday, so I was told, phone up the assessment people, make sure they've got it. And I phoned up the assessment people today, and they haven't got it. So, as you can imagine, my anxiety is really ramped up because I have a very short window to get it in. Because if they do get it, it may remove the need for a face-to-face assessment. So I phoned up this morning to find out whether the GP's office could, if they took a copy of the form before they sent it, could they fax it? I got the fax number from the assessment people, and I phoned up the GP today about 5 minutes ago, and they said, "Oh, well, it has been done, but we're not sure whether it's been sent off yet." And yet I was told it was either Monday or Tuesday, I think it was Tuesday, that it has been sent off. So who's telling the truth? I've now got to wait another day for the person who's dealing with it to find out whether it has actually been sent, and if it has, and the assessment people haven't got it still, I have to ask her if she's got the copy to fax off to make sure they've got it in time. So I am at the moment really stressing. I did ask for a home assessment, but I can't get that unless I have someone to support my need for it. And the GP form might mean I don't need to do a face-to-face assessment, but if I don't do that, I have to phone my psychiatrist's secretary to see if she can get him to write a letter saying that I need a home assessment, and that has to be there 6 days before the assessment. So I've now got that worry. I've got to try and put that into place, which I haven't even started yet, because I'm still hoping to get the GP thing sorted to see if I can not have to do the face-to-face assessment in the first place. And I asked, while I was on the phone to the assessment people, I said, "Can I have the session recorded?" "Oh yes, but I can't do that. You've got to phone another number to get them to do it. But until you've got a date." Well, I said, "Well, I've got a date. I've got a date of the 19th. I may not have to go to it if the GP gets off their arse and sends it, sends the form. But, can it be put in place?" And she said, this is what confuses me. She said she's going to send them an email asking for it. So why do I have to phone up this other number at a cost to myself? I already had to phone another number today that I was on for about 20 minutes. It was at the 0345 number, so it was a low call number, but it's still expensive. For someone on benefits, it's very difficult to keep making these sort of long phone calls. Then I had to phone the GP, which is local, but it's still a phone call I didn't really want to make or should have to make, because the GP should be on the flipping ball and send these important forms in. And then I had to phone my support worker, who is still in work but is going off on paternity leave soon because his wife is due soon, and good luck to him. But there's all of this. You got to phone 15 different people, and you're getting from the same place. From the GP's office, I've got 2 bloody stories. Either they've sent it or they haven't sent it. And when I was on the phone to the assessors, I mean, I am speaking quite a lot louder than I was on the phone to her. My normal speaking voice is like what I'm speaking right at this precise moment. I raised my voice slightly, and she accused me of shouting at her. I said, if I was shouting, you wouldn't need the phone to hear me. And I wasn't shouting, I just raised my voice slightly. So she's accusing me of shouting at her. I am like anyone else in my position, and as I've said before, I'm in a better position than a lot of people. But they've got to understand, if they start pissing us around, we're going to start raising our voices. And they should understand it. They should have empathy on the other end of the phone of what we are having to be put through. But they don't. And I've just had enough. I've had enough of all the expensive phone calls. If they're going to make us do all these phone calls, they should make it a free phone number. I mean, the only one that was a free phone number was the assessors themselves, which is the only good thing I can say about them at the moment. But to arrange a recording, I have to phone a number that isn't a free phone number. And how long am I going to have to wait for that? I'm going to call in a minute. But this is the shit we have to go through. This is the complete utter shit we have to go through all the time. Chasing people up because they're not doing it. The GP had the form sent to them on the 5th of June. So if that was the actual day it was sent, even giving a window of 5 days for it to arrive, they would have got it on the 10th. And they may still not have sent it, despite the fact I was told on Monday or Tuesday that it had been sent out last Friday. And that was only because my support worker chased them up on it. And is it any wonder why people are committing suicide or falling into a mental health crisis? I mean, that is my problem. I have a mental health problem. Therefore, I am less resilient, maybe, than someone who has got a physical impairment or a sensory impairment. Because people understand that shit. But people don't understand how, at times, I mean, most of the time we are strong. We have to put up, people with mental health problems have to put up with a lot. And we are stronger than most. But there are times when we are weak. and all this constant assessment shit, and the stuff we have to do to to get through the assessment process just drives us further into mental health crisis. And the more they do that, the more we're going to cost the NHS, because some of us will try and commit suicide. Some of us will just become so ill we will have to be put into hospital for a while, a mental health ward, if you can find one that's open. Or it stretches the already stretched and underfunded mental health service, where they have to send people out to do home visits to people who are in such crisis that they cannot continue on their own. If the government just backed off of everybody, the disabled and everybody, the disabled, the mentally unwell, if they just backed off, let us have time. Most of us don't want to be on bloody benefits in the first place. Most of us want to work. But we are the experts in knowing whether we can undertake work at any particular time. And I have to say that I was really close to being able to get back into work, assuming I could find an employer that would actually take me, which is a big problem with for people with mental health problems. But it was a DWP mistake that took away my main source of income for around about 9 months. I may be confused about the full length. It was September that I got the money back, and that's where I got the number 9. But it was a long period where I was not getting paid, where I did not get my benefits I am entitled to, because I have paid into the system. Thank you very much, those who think I haven't paid into the system and who use that as an excuse to try and take our benefits away from us. Yeah, it's just, yeah, most of us don't want to be on benefits, all right? Most of us, until 2014, I was close to getting into work. But since that DWP era, I have been unable to pick myself up again, because even when I got the benefit back, and then I went on to, I got a successful claim for PIT, every single day I am waiting for an envelope coming through the letterbox telling me they're going to take my benefit away, even without the assessment process. I am so worried about my financial security, the safety net of the benefit system that is supposed to be there for people like me and others who need help at a time when we are ill or sick or unable to work. I can't guarantee that I am going to get to keep my money at all, because they made a mistake. It wasn't a sanction. It wasn't me doing something wrong. It was them. It was the DWP doing something wrong. And they took my money away from me. And now I am so worried about money every single day that I will probably never be ready for work again. If in the wildest imaginable universe that I could actually find an employer that would take me on anyway. And what gets me is the DWP view people with, I will say, mental health problems, because that is the reason I've got the benefits. The DWP see people with mental health problems as a problem. What they don't look at is employers being the problem. Employers' attitudes to people with mental health problems. We shouldn't have to hide the fact that we've got a mental health problem. And some of us, like me, unfortunately, because I did something really stupid in 2009 and basically outed myself. It's on YouTube and people can see it. That was because I was trying to do something nice for people with depression, trying to get it more understood so people could see that we're not useless. So I organised and emceed and gave talks at a mental health, a depression awareness event in 2009. Since that time, I cannot hide the fact I've got a mental health problem. And I've had very few interviews since then. And only one employer actually said, we'll have to see how we can accommodate your mental health problem. All the others, shutters come down behind their eyes. They don't want to know. So actually, we have people with mental health problems have our challenges. Yes, we do. And it is harder for us to get into work and stay in work. Not impossible, but harder. Harder than some people. But it's the attitudes to employers. There's a possibility that I may never get into work because of those attitudes. And as much as I have tried to prove through all the stuff that I've done in the past, prove that I am more than just my mental health problem, they don't care. So the DWP should look at employers and their attitudes and trying to change those attitudes as a two-pronged approach. Give us the support we need. The people with mental health problems, give us the support we need to get into work and stay in work. Fine. And make the system something that does not set us up to fail, but helps us to set us up to succeed. Because that would make it easier and in some ways reduce the benefit bill if we do succeed. But you've got to look at the employers' attitudes. You've got to change their attitudes because otherwise we won't even get into work to try and get out of benefits. Without a two-pronged approach, the benefit system is still as much a trap as the Tories keep saying they're trying to stop it being. They say welfare is a trap. No, welfare is not a trap. The way you fuck around and treating the claimants as a problem rather than dealing with the attitudes of certain employers, and in a survey last year, 2/3 of employers will not knowingly or willingly take on someone with a mental health problem. You've got to tackle that before you start or keep on screwing over the people with mental health problems. Like I said, there is a general point with disability in general, but I'm talking about mental health specifically because that is my problem. And that is where the attitudes are worse. Because actually, sensory and physical impairments, you can kind of get your head around the sort of reasonable adjustments you need to make as an employer. But for mental health, there is no clear-cut reasonable adjustment you can make. It has to be very individualized. And all this stress they're putting us through is making us unemployable because we keep going through crisis after crisis and we are never going to get into work if they're going to keep treating us like this. Thanks for listening. Do share if you feel the need to. I would really like that because I would like a few more views and maybe it'll actually hit the audience it's supposed to be hitting. Thanks.